everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is about the recent MediShield Life changes. So if you didn't know, MediShield Life has changed since September 2022, and then that's not the last week of change. And if you are on integrated shield plan, don't think you're not affected, because you are definitely affected, and the change hasn't been implemented, but it will be implemented this year in April. Okay, so let me share what are the changes in MediShield Life and also how it will affect integrated shield plan. So integrated shield plan is what you buy from the different insurers, or the 7 or 8 different insurers. Okay, so these are on top of your MediShield Life, and because integrated shield plans are linked to MediShield Life, so they will be mandated by MOH as well. So the insurers cannot anyhow set integrated shield plans coverages, that kind of thing lah. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so actually these slides have already been prepared a few months ago before the changes were implemented, and I posted it on my Instagram, but then because there's no video to explain it, maybe some people didn't understand what was posted, or maybe they prefer someone to share with them verbally what's going on. So yeah, here's the video. Okay, so the changes are to MediShield Life, CPF MediSave as well as integrated shield plan changes. Okay, so these changes only affects cancer related stuff. So cancer outpatient drugs, inpatient is not affected. Okay, so this first phase of changes already implemented. First phase is MediShield Life and MediSave lah. So this already happened in September 2022. Okay, so what is affected? Outpatient cancer treatment and services coverage. Okay, so I'll also share what you can do to protect yourself financially now. Okay, then like I mentioned, integrated shield plan changes will take effect this year, April 2023. Okay. So MediShield Life, I believe you know, is a basic hospital insurance plan for SG and PRs. So if you want to know more about MediShield Life, you can watch my other video, which I'll put down in the link below. Okay, and CPF MediSave, I believe everybody knows, is a part of your CPF savings that can use to pay for certain medical expenses, as well as insurance sometimes. Yeah, some insurance. Okay, like MediShield Life, you pay for your shield plans, and you also pay for your CareShield Life and your CareShield supplements. Okay, so many users of MediShield Life. Okay, so what are the main changes that happened already September 2022? Okay, so like I mentioned, the only thing that's affected is outpatient cancer drugs. Okay, so for now, right, you can only claim if these outpatient cancer drugs are on this list of the MOH cancer drug list. So for short form, we call them CDL. Okay, so if not on the CDL, totally will not be claimable, and then if you go to the clinic for those kind of cancer treatment, they will not be able to e-file this claim under the Singapore Mediclaim system. Okay, so basically cannot claim at all if not on CDL. Okay, so for this cancer outpatient, right, it's split into two kind of category. One is treatment, one is services. Okay, so what is treatment? Treatment is including but not limited to chemotherapy and immunotherapy. Okay, so for now, right, you can claim all these thingies, treatment, ranging from 2,000 to 9,600 a month, depending on this MOH CDL. Okay, so this MOH CDL is actually updated every 4 months. Okay, and then how do they get in this MOH CDL? It has to be cost effective and clinically proven. Okay, so what is cost effective is a good value in treating a particular cancer. It must be for that particular cancer, compared to existing standard of care in terms of health benefit and cost. Okay, so if currently a drug is on the CDL list, but then suddenly the manufacturer keep raising the price, and then it becomes much more expensive, it can be taken out of the CDL. Okay, so like you can be covered one day, then 4 months later, when MOH update the CDL, it's possible that you are no longer being able to claim this drug. Okay. So clinically proven means registered with the HSA for that particular clinical indication. Okay, so like let's say a drug is used for breast cancer, and then now your doctor want to use it to treat your brain cancer, but it's not listed as brain cancer under the CDL, right? It will not be part of, you cannot be e-file under the Mediclaim system lah. Okay, so must meet the standards of safety, quality, and efficacy. Okay, so 90% of HSA approved drugs. So basically, based on the old thing, right, MOH did some research. 90% of these drugs previously claimed should be able to continue claiming. So 10% of the people will be left uncovered after this change. I mean, it already happened. So 10% of the people like very cham now, they don't have coverage for their cancer outpatient, so they need to pay all of them out of pocket. Okay, so basically claims will be out of pocket if they exceed the CDL limits or totally not on the CDL. And then previously you just need to be clinically proven to claim these drugs. So yeah, last time the limit was only $3,000 a month. So basically, don't care what you claim for cancer outpatient, is $3,000 a month. So this changes, right, is only to MediShield Life and MediSave. Okay. Then services relating to this cancer outpatient, such as consultation, scans, lab investigation, chemotherapy preparation, administration fees, supportive medication, blood transfusions, etc. Okay, so this if you before that you had received some treatments but not relating to cancer, as in like before you were diagnosed with cancer, it is not counted. Okay, so does not include services incurred before diagnosis, or you are counted as in remission already, then it does not fall under this category. Okay, so after cancer drug treatment is ended, also not counted. Okay, so this limit is actually at 1,200 per year. Is per year, so this one is per month, right? But this limit for services is per year, so it's actually very, very, very low for MediShield Life. Yeah. Okay, so basically, like I mentioned, this is the MediShield Life coverage. The only change is this outpatient treatment. The rest does not change from last time. Okay, so this is the example of the MOH CDL. So you can see you need to check the cancer type, check the active ingredient. So this drug can only be used for treating this. If your doctor don't write it as this, then you cannot claim under this line. Okay, so you can see they also prescribe the limit per month. So if this doctor prescribes this drug, this month you can only claim $200 for this drug. Okay, so same for all this you can also see the limits. So in case that there is actually two like maybe you prescribe 2 drugs to cure breast cancer, right? Can you guess whether it's the limit is supposed to be both drugs, or maybe one drug only, the highest one, that kind of thing. Okay, so this question I'll answer later. Okay, so why did MOH make such changes? This is their reasoning. So of course, cancer is on the rise every day. 1 in 3 deaths are caused by cancer. Change is also necessary to rein in soaring healthcare and claim costs. Okay, so national spending on cancer drugs grows at a compound annual growth rate of 20%. I'll be very happy my investment goes at this rate, but no, this is actually cancer drug inflation rate. Okay, rising cancer prevalence. Okay, and then medical advancement. So basically, new advancement in technology, of course, the healthcare costs will increase. Okay, then this practice of having a positive list is in line with other developed countries that has advanced healthcare. And then I think basically previous method of 3K a month was abused by certain people, so that's why they like for example, if my drug currently is $200, a pharmaceutical company, I want to make full use of this $3,000, so why don't I just inflate the price of my drug to $3,000 to hit the limit? Okay, and then just because of this, then premiums will continue to increase unsustainably and become unaffordable with time. Okay, so this supports the procurement of cancer drugs at better prices and better targeted coverage. Okay, so like I mentioned, if you are MediShield Life, if you're on IP, it also affects you. So this is why it also affects you. So as IPs are technically riders on MediShield Life, so basically, actually your main plan is called MediShield Life. Just the IPs ride on MediShield Life. Okay. Yeah, but the way insurance term it is like a main plan. Okay, so basically MOH can mandate the coverage of IP to a certain extent, and IP has to comply with these changes to MediShield Life. So the IP can only cover those on CDL up to specified limits, same for services. So this one later I'll explain. Okay, if you don't understand this, so basically just now we were talking about that drug, right? $200 a month, right? So let's say you buy the IP and you also prescribe the same drug, your limits will be certain number of times of this $200. So let's say, right, a MediShield Life is one time of this. They can only claim up to their limit, right? So if you're on IP, it can be 5 times of that $200, but it's you must still rely on the CDL. Okay, then you are for now, right, before until April 2023, right, still able to claim for cancer drug treatment services using the old method. With IP, right, last time is as charged for cancer drug outpatient treatment. So even if they are not under CDL, you can still continue to claim now. For those people who didn't get IP, right, they are the ones that will be struck the most in this period. Yeah. So medical centers might not be able to submit these claims outside of the CDL list. So if you bought IP and then you are claiming outside the CDL list, then your medical centers will not have be able to submit these claims, and then you have to pay out of pocket first, then your insurer will reimburse you after that. Okay, so after this transition period in April, right, then all IPs can only cover treatments on the CDL list, and then they have to set claim limits for each cancer drug treatment. So basically, like I mentioned, if the CDL list says it's $500 is the claim per month, right? So the insurer can only dictate like maybe 5 times more, 10 times more, that kind of thing. Yeah, so basically they still have to follow the MOH CDL list. Okay, so changes will apply to all IPs sold and renewed from April 2023 onwards. Okay, so this is in 3 months, so do take note. However, there's a bright side. IP riders are not regulated by MOH and can continue to cover drugs not under the CDL. So this depends on individual insurers, how they want to price their riders, whether how much they want to cover for drugs or not in the CDL. Okay, so definitely these riders are not going to be cheap. Maybe they will add it to your existing rider, or maybe they will ask you to top up a separate rider, so you have 2-3 riders on top of your IP plans. So all this will be regulated by individual insurers, or your insurer can totally choose not to cover any drugs under CDL. So all these things, your insurer will only release closer to April 2023. Yeah. Okay, so like I mentioned, the limit. So this is the current coverage. This one is according to the MOH website. Okay, then revised coverage is this. And then, like I mentioned, IP will be affected. So varies across insurance plan, and it will be a multiple of that MediShield Life limits. Okay, riders will cover drug education beyond the CDL, so depends whether you want to add this rider. Okay, yeah, so let me share the current integrated shield plans for private hospitals. So for your shield plans, what is affected the coverage? Current coverage is this chemotherapy for cancer and immunotherapy. So as you can see here, right, most of the insurer have it as charged. Okay, only this kind of plans okay, because this income shield is like I think a budget one, so they have it at lower rates . So most of the private, if you have the top tier integrated shield plans, right, it's actually originally as charged, but now you don't have it as charged anymore unless you add a rider. Even if you add a rider, it might not be as charged, so you need to check with your individual insurer on what's the plan. Okay, so some examples of how the claim works. Okay, so based on actually I have tweaked the figure, so it's no longer based on a real life story. So Miss A made a claim for breast cancer outpatient treatment on the MediShield Life. So the doctor prescribed this, I don't know how to pronounce. Okay, so basically this drug for her breast cancer treatment. So how much she can claim? She can claim $800 a month for this drug. Okay, so basically imagine this is her bill across the year. On the treatment itself, which is the drug you saw, is all these amounts. Okay, and then cancer drug services. So like I mentioned, services we don't split whether CDL or not, we just limit it to $1,200 per year. So you can see her total for the year, right, for services is really $9,500. So definitely she will not be able to claim this full amount. And then you can see in certain months, okay, her limit per month, right, is actually $800 because of on the CDL is only $800. So all these months, right, she actually exceeded the $800 except for February . Okay, so basically February there's okay, so we talk about 2 different situations. We talk about before this September 2022 change, then we talk about after. Okay, so before the September 2022 change, like I mentioned, the coverage is don't care about whether you are treatment or services, you can claim $3,000 per month. Okay, so you can see so whatever this amount that's above $3,000 per month, right, you need to pay out of pocket. So the previous out of pocket, right, if you see the breakdown here, it's actually $27,000. But then now with this new CDL list, right, you can see $800 because a lot of is spent on the treatment rather than services, there is more out of pocket. Okay, so you can see the total out of pocket is actually 52k compared to the previous one, which is 27k. Why this is actually lacking is because this example was originally a private hospital claim. That's why it's such a big difference. For if you went to a government hospital based on MediShield Life, right, maybe B2 C-class ward or whatever, maybe the charges will not be as high. Okay, so this is just a disclaimer. Okay, so this is just one of the example of how medical bill out of pocket can change based on the circumstances for individual person lah. Okay, so example 2, imagine same case but more severe. Maybe they need like 3 treatments of cancer, breast cancer. So basically you can look at the limits. It's 800, 800, 800. So basically, right, even though the doctor prescribed these 3, you see what is the MediShield limit per month. Is it supposed to be 800 or 2004? Okay, the answer is actually 800 because you can only claim on one drug on the CDL list per month. Okay, this is based on MediShield Life lah. Yeah, but there's an exception lah. So like basically, if your breast cancer is treated by 2 drugs and just nice on the CDL list is listed as 2 drugs to combat together. So you based on, like I mentioned, you can only claim on one line, one horizontal line in the CDL list per cancer claim lah. Okay, so for like breast cancer, you can only claim even though you use 2 drugs, you can claim 2004. So yeah, need to see whether your drug can be used in conjunction together on the CDL list. If it's not, then it's only as a one-liner. Then but your doctor prescribed 2 drugs on the CDL list, you can only claim the higher of the amount, the MediShield Life claim amount from the CDL list. So let's say it's one drug 800, one drug 1000, you can only claim 1000 for that month. Okay, so basically MediShield Life can be grossly insufficient if you need more aggressive forms of treatment per month. Okay, so what can you do to cope with these changes? During this transition period, if you're worried about developing cancer and its medical costs in the short term, but you're now still healthy, you can purchase an IP plan with a rider, and then there is no waiting period for integrated shield plans. Okay, then if you're just worried about cancer, during this transition period, you can consider a low-cost cancer lump sum standard plan. Most of these plans are much more cheaper than a comprehensive CI plan, but then do note that you have a 90 days waiting period for most of these plans. Okay, and then on the long-term view, you need to faster check which is the best rider you can add on to your IP plans. I mean, it's also not very good to switch IP plans if you're not in perfect health, but if you're really in like pink of health, right, you can switch IP plans lah. Okay, so when new riders are released later this year, ensure that your riders have additional cancer outpatient coverage. Okay, especially if your family has a history of cancer, all this. Okay, and then because cancer is more likely to relapse, right? In the long-term view, you should always buy a multi-claim critical illness plan because cancer often relapse and persists for a long period of time lah. Okay, so if you already have cancer and not in good health, I'm sorry, but it's too late for you to get coverage now. And then maybe you can look into planning for investments instead. Okay, so if you're healthy, don't ever let yourself be financially unprotected and get coverage as soon as you can. Okay, so maybe some extra tips for you guys. So why buy IP with riders if you already have MediShield Life? Like I mentioned in my other video, there's a higher claim limit per policy year. MediShield Life only maximum you can claim 150k per year. And then basically you get to choose your doctor and you stay in air-conditioned wards. And then PRs, if you are a PR and you're not Singaporean, you have a pro-ration factor for MediShield Life. So i.e. whatever you claim is not fully covered lah. Yeah. Okay. And definitely IPs have a more comprehensive coverage for pre and post hospitalization because MediShield Life doesn't have all this. And then less out-of-pocket expenses is usually capped if you buy riders. Okay, then maybe you can qualify for overseas medical treatment, and then with this IP riders you can actually claim non-CDL treatments lah. Yeah. Okay, so just some hospitalization FAQ. What happens when you try to switch from like B2 ward to a higher class ward. So this example is a guy admitted to a B2 ward for 3 days. After knowing your schedule for surgery, is why I recommended a senior consultant to him. So to be able to choose a senior consultant, yes, must be in a private ward type. So he need to switch. So he switched to a private ward, and then medical bill will be prorated retrospectively. So even though you switch halfway, you're going to stay in the non-aircon ward, and after you switch to a private ward, right, your bill prorated all the way from the start. So might as well you straight away go private rate, okay? Then future outpatient appointments all under private rate. Okay, so he paid a deposit via e-pay for the estimated bill inclusive of surgery and a 2-week post-surgery stay. So yeah. Okay, so basically we just ignore the bottom part and just take a look at the pricing. So estimated total bill before and after is actually quite different. It's maybe like 5 times more. And then yeah, so you can see cash deposit required, all this lah. Okay. So medishield life might be barely sufficient for subsidized care, but it's definitely insufficient to cover for private care. Okay. Yeah. So basically this shows the pricing if you go for private wards, even in a government hospital. Oh, sorry, this is actually private hospital. So private hospital wards charges are as follows lah. So 75% are charged below this amount, and then 25% are charged below this amount. So I think you look at 50% is best lah. So this is the average charges if you stay in a private ward. Okay. Yeah, so basically health is more important than wealth when you're trying to purchase insurance. So please do not delay your insurance purchase. Moreover, the older you get, insurance is more expensive lah. So no reason to buy late, and when you buy it too late, you can't even buy. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can if you have any questions, do drop me a quick DM on Telegram. This is my username. Okay, so that's the end of the video. If you found it helpful, please feel free to help to share the video. And then if you've got any questions, drop me a DM on Telegram. Okay, so I just had my birthday, so I like feel like a bit like some reflections on my life, and then also like I'm closer to 30. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so that's the end of my video. Please help to like and subscribe. Bye bye.